Hello everyone and welcome, my name is Andrew Can, together WeKanGame. In the last episode we made our way to Jerusalem. In this episode we are going to continue the hunt for Talal, but before I continue, as you can see I didn't get this one viewpoint. I want to talk about the Dome of the Rock. That is the building right behind us. The Dome of the Rock is actually a very significant building to Jerusalem. It is actually a huge mosque. It hosts very different religious ceremonies such as the following. It has Christian, Islamic, and Jewish ceremonies held within it. As you can see, it is gilded here, but it actually wasn't gilded until 1963. They just gilded it to make it look a little bit better for the game. It would have actually been a black coating on top. Just a little bit of information there for you. And with that, we have gotten all the viewpoints. I have not saved all the citizens because honestly I could not find one of the citizens. Ah, there it was. So we are going to now do a couple more missions, learn about Talal, and rid the world of him. Our hunt is ending. As another thing you may have noticed is that I did gain another DNA augmentation. So that's a little bit of information there. Let me collect this flag because the collector in me could not collect it. So I just love having more health. It really does give you that upper hand. So I'm going to get rid of these, as many as I can before they notice. Usually you can get a good bit. Gonna use the short blade here. He actually hit the man we need to save. Sometimes it's just good to throw. If you throw them into things like that, they will die. I don't think I really pointed that out.
I hope so. Still, best not to take any chances. I'll hurry home. Don't think I'll leave it again anytime soon, either. You've done me a kindness, young man. Be assured, I won't forget it.
Thank you. And with that, we have gotten... oh, God. I was going to move on, but this man decides that he wants to be a pain in the butt. He's dead, so let's talk to him.
It seems I've made some enemies. Al-Mualim asked that I shadow the slave trader, and I did, though not well enough. He discovered me, and I've been running from his men ever since. I need to get out of the city, but I can't do it alone. Help me, and I'll share what I've learned with you.
And as this escort informer has given us, Talal is a slave trader. It's going to come in very handy later, but I'm not going to get too much into that. I want to have a little bit more to talk about. Another thief walking around. I do actually not like these missions. I'd say this is one of the few missions I do not like. Just easily taken care of with the throwing knives. I don't really want to get into physical altercation if I can prevent it. So we're just going to walk with him. Sometimes it's better to go on the roofs, but you know, I find walking on the ground, walking on the ground does the job pretty well. So we're just going to slowly trail this man. Come on, informer. One thing I want to point out is the informers, they are actually novices. They don't have any... And the guards are taken care of. Again, really want to do this without causing too much attention, but I'm running out of throwing knives, so may have to. But I believe he's close to the exit of the city where he doesn't need me anymore. Yeah, there we are. We can see on the mini-map where he needs to go. There's also a thief there, so we'll get our throwing knives back. But let's see what we'll learn about Talal.
Go away.
Thank you, brother. Take this map. It lists Talal's hiding places. Useful information should that coward choose to run instead of fight. And from what I know of the man, run is what he'll do.
Informer stormed off and we learned a little bit more. So Talal is more likely to run. He's kind of a coward, ironically. Well, not ironically, I guess not every evil person is going to be strong and fight head on, but you know, it just says a little bit about his character, I guess. Talal is the kind of man that would get his henchmen to do most of his work. Mostly because he didn't want to do it himself.
Did you see that?
Good reason not to. We're going to make our way through. Going to be careful not to knock down these jar carriers. Don't want to alert the guards. Going to go over here, get these missions out of the way. There's a listening in one I'm going to go to before the assassination. As you can see, each little mission has a different target, and we've seen some of these before, so that's what we are going to do. We're going to listen in. Eavesdropping is much simpler. Now, I do mention that you only need 3 of these. I don't know if I mentioned that, but you don't need to do all 6, but for stories purposes and to really get what the game wants you to do, I would highly recommend doing all of them. If you're playing this for your first time or just playing along, I really do recommend. The vigilante's running through the streets there. So we're just gonna free run a bit. Debbie said something I didn't point out, but if you if you go up a ladder, it will not alert the guards, because going up a ladder is considered a more respectful way to do something, believe it or not. You can see some crows in the graveyard near the church here, so it's inside the church, because sometimes it's inside, I believe it, yes, or it's right in front. We might need to join this group of scholars. Again, use of scholars proving to be handy. So we're gonna blend in, though how no one can notice us is kind of still gets me, not going to lie to you. So we're gonna blend in. I really do like the Altair blending. In this other games, the blending mechanic has changed, but one thing I do like is the ability to passively blend. So we are going to wait a little longer. Gonna want to go on this bench right here, because we are in the church. The church, obviously, for religious purposes, is highly guarded. So let us listen in.
He's a coward. If it wasn't for the money, I'd be long gone.
You're either stupid or blind. Maybe it's both.
How can you say that?
You didn't see what happened.
I saw well enough. Our caravan was attacked, and the first thing he did was flee.
No, he didn't run.
What are you talking about?
Do you forget what became of the men who attacked us?
Felled by our archers, thanks be to God.
Not our archers, him, alone.
So you're saying he saved us?
Yes, he headed for higher ground and used his bow to kill them.
I had no idea.
The man's a master archer. You do well to remember that.
That Talal is Master Archer. So we're getting more and more information. He likes to get a little bit of leeway. Now this is going to be the interesting part. We just really can't walk out of here. So I'm gonna... Yes, I knew they were going to react. Mostly because maybe we're not allowed to be in there for that part. God, getting beaten up. The ice pick is much better for crowd control. I don't think I mentioned that. For Templars, fighting the Templars one-on-one, you really want to go for the blade, but for going for a crowd, for big groups of guards like this, really want to go with the short blade. The short blade Altair is using now has a wooden handle. It is not as good as later versions of it, but it's still pretty good. It'll get upgraded more and more as the game progresses, but just going to walk through here. Since we now have the ability to tackle, I'm going to really utilize it. And we've broken line of sight. So I'm going to go up here to this informer. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to take care of these. So we are going to fight a little bit more. I'm really trying to cut down on the fighting, mostly because it just takes a little bit of time out of these episodes, and these can get pretty lengthy as it is, because there's a good bit of information. But with that, let us listen to the informer. Or not. Now we're gonna listen.
Peace, Altair. We live in harsh times, do we not? I am in an ocean of trouble. I had a mission to investigate some strange disappearances in the Rich District, and Talal's men saw my face. My status is compromised. Would you be kind enough to eliminate them for me in exchange for the information you seek?
God Almighty.
Seeing his face is a very bad thing, because he's crap. Not what I wanted to do, but for religious purposes, it's not the best thing that could happen. So we're gonna need to go in here. I believe it's actually inside the building we just left. Yes, it is. So we're gonna have to be very careful. These people, if they see you, you will fail. So we're gonna have to be very stealthy and do this with really good mechanics here. So this is gonna be a very interesting thing for myself, actually.
What would cause him to run like that?
Because even though I'm really decent at this, you still can screw up. There's guards everywhere, and they're really kind of dressed in modern garb, so...
He must be up to no good.
There's one. I failed the assassination thing. Now, this is one of the men we have to take care of. The other one is going to be walking around. So one of the two is done. So let's get the one that's walking. I believe this is the one we need to focus on. But I think he's going to notice the body and be scared, so... Let's see how this turns out. I'm going to sit here to hopefully not draw too much attention to myself. Alright.
Please, sir, have any money?
And with that,
Please, sir, have any money?
we have eliminated all of the targets. And without looking too suspicious, let us go back to the informer so we don't have to do this again. But first, flag. Sorry. As I said, loved collecting things, so...
Altair, you're rid of the ones who knew me? Excellent. Here's what I learned about Talal. He's a powerful slaver who occupies an area north of town, near the Barbican. He pays a tribute to the city guards so he can operate in the shadows. But from what you showed me today, I'm sure he will share the same fate as the others. Thank you again, Altair.
So we learned that Talal has a slave trading business and works with guards. So a little bit more information about the man we need to get rid of. Talal is, he's not... he's... Compared to some of the others we've seen, to me anyway, he's kind of... I'm not going to say uninteresting, because I would say all the men we have to assassinate are very interesting, just in the different ways they are. But I don't know the right wording for it. Again, sometimes I don't know. So I'm going to...
The great Altair before me. What an honor. You must be here for a very important mission. Maybe I could help you. I have been eavesdropping, and I have learned much. However, I have erred. I had some Masyaf flags to deliver to the bureau leader, but I lost them when attacked by thugs. Could you find them for me? I must be back to my mentor before he returns from the market, so you must be fast as the wind.
Getting another collect the flag mission. We had the Masyaf flags, which are basically the assassin's flag. Very unfortunate that he was to drop them. It's very obvious who they're allianced with, so I mean, it'd kind of be a little hard to say, you know, I didn't drop them because they have the assassin's insignia on it, so it was probably not in his best ideas to drop them. Obviously, he was bringing these to Masyaf, but we already collected all the flags in Masyaf, so this is collect the flag once. These aren't, I like them a lot. Oh, this isn't even, well, looky here. We collected a flag I didn't need to for this anyway. So that was interesting. Good placement by the developers there, because they knew you would probably come through this area for this mission, so why not place another flag that you would actually need? So that was cool. I actually appreciate that. I like when game developers know their game well enough to place little things similar or close by to areas. Okay, where's this flag? I don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not here. Gonna take a little bit of damage. Yeah, 2 things of DNA augment. Wait a second, do I have them?
That is great. I knew I could count on you, Master Altair. Here is what I learned from listening to the guards near the Dome of the Rock. They were talking about the man named Talal. They said he has many loyal followers, all of whom will readily give their lives for the man. If their master is in danger, they are sure to intervene, giving Talal time to escape. That is all I know. I hope my small contribution will help.
So Talal's men are reckless, pretty much. as we'll learn by Talal, his men are not to be taken lightly. We know he's a master archer, we know his men are very faithful. Let's get this last little bit of information before we continue. Now, the free running in Assassin's Creed 1 is a little slow paced. That's one thing I forgot. In later installments it gets so much better, but playing back, really enjoy what they improved, but I really am going to just say this now. I do plan on playing through more of the Assassin's Creed series. I don't plan on stopping at 1. I like to play games in order. Well, at least on my channel, and just in general, I think it's probably the best idea to play games in order of series. Most people will tell you you can skip Assassin's Creed 1 and just go in straight into 2. And while that may be true, you really get a good mechanic feel of the game, and you can really appreciate what they've improved so much. So here we are, we got a pickpocket. I'm doing a lot of pickpocketing to get more throwing knives, so I'm getting really good at this one.
If the guard won't take action, it falls to us to do something.
What you propose is madness.
But necessary. How many more will we allow to go missing before the people take a stand?
It does not affect us.
Not yet. But if we continue to do nothing, it will.
And what do you propose?
I've watched the man. Learned everything there is to know about his operation. It's all here on a map I've made. He inspects his stock every day at the same time. This is when I'll strike.
So you have a piece of paper. It won't save you when you're discovered. Won't shield you from their swords and arrows.
If all goes well, it won't come to that. Anyway, it's a risk I'll have to take. Wish me luck, my friend.
Indeed. You'll need it.
And with that, we learned a little bit even more about Talal. We learned about his men. We learned that when he checks his slaves, he's very distracted, kind of like the good doctor was. I say good doctor sarcastically, of course. So we're going to need to be careful. Don't want to assassinate, but be really careful. It also lets you look at... Altair missing his ring finger. I mentioned in another episode that it does require a commitment, the hidden blade, and back in the day they chose the ring finger. And God, I mean, to sacrifice your ring finger for a weapon, you've got to have a lot of devotion. But luckily for us, that mission wasn't too far from the Bureau, so let us go talk to Malik and see what he has to say about Talal.
Malik.
Come to waste more of my time?
I found Talal. I'm ready to begin my mission.
That is for me to decide.
Very well. Here's what I know. He traffics in human lives, kidnapping Jerusalem citizens and selling them into slavery. His base is a warehouse located inside the Barbican, north of here. As we speak, he prepares a caravan for travel. I'll strike while he's inspecting his stock. If I can avoid his men, Talal himself should prove little challenge.
Little challenge? Listen to you. Such arrogance.
Are we finished? Are you satisfied with what I've learned?
No. But it will have to do. Rest, prepare, cry in the corner. Do whatever it is you do before a mission. Only make sure you do it quietly.
Fast forwarding memory to a more recent one.
You can really feel the tension between Malik and Altair. I mean, like I said, the death of his brother, I mean, you really can't forgive something like that. That's something that's very unforgivable. But we are going to finally get rid of Talal. He's a slave trader, and one thing I want to mention is, if you watch the last couple of episodes, you realize we took care of the good doctor, and he said he got slaves. Talal is actually the man who supplied, at least in Assassin's Creed, the slaves. Because, like I said, that's where Assassin's Creed takes some of the fiction elements, mixes them, not messes. Well, I guess it technically messes with them, but it adds to the Assassin storyline. Obviously, the Assassin's Creed series is a work of fiction, that's why they have the warning. Spreading the good word of Salahadin. Well, if you agree with Saladin's message anyway. So we're going to make our way through. One thing I want to mention is in a city with many religions, most of the Templars are actually godless, which is really interesting to me. They actually wear the red cross, but they don't believe in a religion. Well, most of them. Some do, as we saw by the Christian doctor. So, I don't know. I just find it interesting. So let us make our way through. We can see it's heavily guarded, so we're going to need to use those scholars again. Except this time, I gotta hope they go to the right. If they go to the left. Alright, they went right. I was a little bit afraid there. What? Scholars? Come on. For a second I was confused on what they were doing. So we're just going to walk past. I really like the utilization of scholars. Obviously they can tell by the drab. They're not going to stop us, but you would think the giant short blade on my back would have been a slight giveaway. We notice the archers really want to stay blended. We don't want to draw too much attention. They won't go any further. So this is where we have to kind of, by ourselves, passively blend.
I'm so hungry.
We can hear the people complain for better things. So I'm going to try to run a little bit, not too much. Speaking of Arabic, oh god, there's some crazy people. Like right there. Damn it! Freaking hate the crazy citizens.
Be wary, friends.
Alright, here we are. Is he inside this? Okay, here we are. We're gonna need to be in here.
What now, slaver?
Do not call me that. I only wish to help them, as I myself was helped.
You do no kindness imprisoning them like this.
Imprisoning them? I keep them safe, preparing them for the journey that lies ahead.
What journey? It is a life of servitude.
You know nothing. It was folly to even bring you here, to think that you might see and understand.
I understand well enough. Show yourself.
And with that, he reveals himself, sort of. Let's see. Let's walk our way through.
Help me! Save me!
Ah, so you want to see the man who called you here?
You did not call me here. I came on my own.
Did you? Who unbarred the door? Cleared the path? Did you once raise your blade against a single man of mine, huh? No. All this I did for you. Step into the light, then, and I will grant you one final favor. Now I stand before you. What is it you desire?
Come down here. Let us settle this with honor.
Why must it always come to violence? It seems I cannot help you, for you do not wish to help yourself. And I cannot allow my work to be threatened. You leave me no choice. You must die.
And with that, we start our first combat section. Get a good feel of what Talal is like. He's not going to fight us himself. He's going to use his minions, like I was mentioning. He's not a man who is going to handle things he starts himself. Outsider's going to get a little beaten up here. His men are very good fighters. That's not to be taken away from them at all. But I'm using the short blade because it's better for crowd control. So we can get rid of more at once. I'm going to throw them as well, because we're kind of running long on length here, so I don't want to take too long. Take care of him. Use a throwing knife again. There we go. Took another throwing knife. I really like the throwing knives. I'm so happy I have them.
Keep him away from me!
And he's gonna run. This is gonna be our first kind of chase, so this is gonna be a little intense. So let us chase Talal. Like I said, beggar, really. Like I said, Talal's not much of a man of honor. He honored us enough to show us his face. Besides that,
You've nowhere to run now. Share your secrets with me.
My part is plain. The Brotherhood is not so weak that my death will stop its work.
What Brotherhood?
Al-Mualim is not the only one with designs upon the Holy Land. And that's all you'll have from me.
Then we are finished. Beg forgiveness from your god.
He's long abandoned us. Long abandoned the men and women I took into my arms.
What do you mean?
Beggars, whores, addicts, lepers. Do they strike you as proper slaves? Unfit for even the most menial tasks? No. I took them not to sell, but to save. And yet you'd kill us all. For no other reason than it was asked of you.
No. You profit from the war. From lives lost and broken.
Yes, you would think that, ignorant as you are. Wall off your mind. They say it's what your kind do best. Do you see the irony in all this? No, not yet, it seems. But you will.
as we saw there, Altair, the men he's killing are bringing up very good points, and he's having a lot of moral issue with it. He used to kill for his own, just because he was told, but now he's learning again. He's actually taking it all in, because from a young age, he really didn't value the... I want to say Altair didn't really... Like, he did value it, but he... It's hard to say. He didn't appreciate what he learned, I think would be the best wording of it. Like, he's starting to see how important it all is. Knowing right from wrong and actually following the creed. He's starting to, he's having moral issues, and it's developing his character. Because before, you could tell he didn't care at all, and now he's asking why. He can't seem to understand who's right. Thinking of what he says, nothing is true, everything is permitted, definitely makes you wonder, huh? Now, if you played the story, you obviously know how it goes, but for those who haven't, please try not to spoil too much in the comments. Okay, I'm just gonna make it back to the bureau. Uh-oh. The collector in me, damn it! Even I don't like the collector in me. I'm going to need to assassinate these men. Don't really want to do this, but I have no choice. I need to get in the bureau. Come on. Another one, really?
God favors me.
Come on. Combat's not that difficult. I know it's not the best in the series, but God, it's that I'm doing. Make a liar out of me. Dang it. Alright. Let's get our way back to the bureau, get this all over with. Let us talk to Malik.
Altair! Wonderful to see you return to us. And how fared the mission?
The deed is done. Talal is dead.
Oh, I know. In fact, the entire city knows! Have you forgotten the meaning of subtlety?
A skilled assassin ensures his work is noticed by the many.
No! A skilled assassin maintains control of his environment.
We can argue the details all you'd like, Malik. But the fact remains I've accomplished the task set to me by Al-Mualim.
Go then. Return to the old man. Let us see with whom he sides.
You and I are on the same side, Malik.
Fast forwarding.
Very important to
a more
note.
recent one.
The rivalry is starting to affect how Altair works. And with that, we're going to end it here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you could do me so kind, and please leave a comment and or rating. It really does help out. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you had fun. More importantly, I hope you learned something.